Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the legendary Roy Wilkins Auditorium in St. Paul, Minnesota, as we continue our coverage of Power Hockey Cup 2014 here on Ustream. I'm Mike Beaton, and joining us for this first period of action, why don't we introduce yourselves here?
Roddy R. from the Ottawa Capitals, number 11.
I'm Mike York. I'll be filling just for a second for Brett Johnson. But right now we already got a question from not Alex M. Roddy, why didn't you drop the gloves against Chad?
Well, you probably saw I was very close to. I wanted to drop the gloves on that ref. Chad just plays it perfectly, you know. But that ref really needs to read the rule books. But anyways, moving on.
Yeah, we won't discuss it.
That's right.
But we will discuss a player I'm sure you're familiar with, Roddy, Philadelphia, and the 11-year-old prodigy, Jake Saxton, who led the tournament in goals scored, and right now he's trailing, but you know we have yet to play this. Entering this game, 16 goals and 8 assists, so he's averaging 6 points per game, 4 goals per game. He'll be wearing number 18. What do you make of this kid?
I mean, Jake is very talented. He obviously has high hockey IQ and, you know, a great shot, great stick handling, and he has this great relationship with his teammates. They've probably practiced every day for the last year, like 5 years. So it's just this unbreakable setup they have here. I don't know, but Falconer's a legend, and you know he told me outside the other day that he's not losing to Philly. So I'm looking forward to this match.
Calgary selects against the Philadelphia power play. Calgary wearing the red, Philadelphia wearing the black.
And as you can see here, Jake is just outrunning Falconer because of his chair and weight as well.
Well, you're right. An 11-year-old's going to be a little lighter than some of the veterans. But you were speaking of Falconer. Falconer has 7 goals and 1 assist entering today's game. So Falconer cannot be ignored either as we bring the third member of our crew, Brett Johnson, into the fold.
Oh, Alex almost had a little piece of that, but Falconer trying to get some space center.
Winner faces Minnesota. The loser will face Roddy tomorrow among the other Ottawa players. That game will be at 5 p.m. right here at the Roy Wilkins Auditorium. The championship match, where Minnesota will play, will take place at 7 p.m.
Jake trying to get some room, but Ben cuts him off there.
And it's not just the scoring. We mentioned the assist for Jake Saxton. He is a very great passer. I covered a Philadelphia shutout victory over Michigan 4-0 as Calgary looking to get an odd man rush. Can't quite do it. Falconer backs it out of play. Saxton pulled off a great backhand pass, and that allowed their captain, their 16-year-old captain, Liam Miller, to score.
Yeah, it's a real big three they have up front that are really tough to stop here for Philadelphia. With Miller, Pitts, and Saxton. And boy, they just really keep your hands full, even against very good teams like, of course, your team over there, Ottawa.
That's right.
And even against some other talented teams, they've just given them all sorts of trouble. It's tough to cover 3 guys that can really maneuver around the floor like they can.
That's right. They all have a great shot and great passing, so it's very difficult.
Liam Miller.
Ben setting up an excellent screen there for Mike. And he gets a good shot off.
Pitts is there for the recovery. Pitts with 5 goals and 5 assists entering this game. Miller with 7 goals and 3 assists. And those are going to be your 3 playmakers for the power play. Everybody else kind of sticking to more of a role-playing asset. But the Minnesota Lynx have their marquee 3.
A little bit of a turnover here.
Yeah, Calgary, that was a good opportunity. Falconer got the stick in there, couldn't handle it.
And they're fighting for it. Looks like Mike's chair turned off for a sec. Okay, Nate's going to recover this ball. Probably just shooting in deep.
That is Grosskloss.
Oh, okay.
Nathan Grosskloss from Carstairs, Alberta. Age 28.
And what do you think here, guys? I have not had a chance to see this Calgary Selects team thus far in the tournament, but you guys think this is one of the teams that could give Philadelphia a run for their money? Because so far, really, no one's had an answer for this power play team.
Personally, I'm not sure if Calgary can. If anyone can, it's Mike Falconer, because he'll bulldoze through anyone just to get the win. So I don't know. He's going to have to be part of this play if they're going to get the win, in my opinion. Sean, this tournament seemed to have lacked some intensity, so I look for Mike to be out on the court fairly shortly.
And Roddy is referencing Sean Paul, number 25, the forward from Calgary, Alberta. We want to remind you that if you want to get involved with the conversation, you can do so through our Ustream comment feed or on Twitter. I am the Sports Brain. You include the in the handle. No underscores, no spaces. The Sports and Brain meshed together. And we would love to read some of your tweets on the air. I know we had a strong contingent of Philadelphia fans in the game I called against Michigan a couple of days ago, and I'm hoping they all have returned to cheer on the power play in Power Hockey Cup 2014.
Already have a couple of comments from Philadelphia fans. Leslie Ann says, "Go Philly, go," as well as Beth says, "Let's go. Excited to see Philadelphia play."
You know, Philly seems to have a strong presence in the chat, but also a strong presence here. When they score, you know, the audience just lights up, so that's always good to see.
And it helps that Philadelphia has a strong social media presence of their own. The captain, Liam Miller, is on Twitter, handle Pockets Have I. And that's also one word, Pockets Have I.
So if you want to troll his Twitter account, you can most certainly.
No, don't encourage that. Don't encourage
Alex
trolling.
clears the ball there from the center. That's a good play. Here we go.
Here's a breakaway chance.
Oh.
Pitts shanks the shot. As we mentioned in the last game, there is no icing here in power hockey competition. There is an offside rule, 4-on-4.
Sean trying to take it up the wing there, but they just, you know, they're all over him. Dumps it in, but
that goes off the chair of Miller and into the hands of Grosskloss. He's not going to set up an odd man rush, so he'll have to back off.
Nice little move there by Nate.
Oh, that was close.
Sean takes a nice wrist shot, almost goes into the left side of the net. Nice try, Sean.
Well, guys, so far it seems like Calgary's had probably the better of the play in this game. Really looking good so far.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised that they haven't set up. Philly hasn't set up their diamond offense pattern.
Yeah, you brought that up yesterday when we called that game that we had with Philadelphia playing a very good Ottawa team. How they just ran that to a T. That breakout play that's almost unstoppable.
Here we go.
And that game against Ottawa was a 6-1 victory.
Thank you for reminding me.
No offense.
A very close 6-1 victory.
Well, in your defense, you guys did keep that game pretty close for the first period and a half or so.
Yeah.
But as it's been the case during this entire tournament, this Philadelphia team can just wear you down with those three big players that they have.
For sure.
Philadelphia was involved in a shootout yesterday in pool play. They defeated the Minnesota Selects 10-7 in what has been the highest scoring game of this tournament. I had a chance to speak with Jake Saxton 2 days ago following Philadelphia's win, and they just bonded. Age doesn't seem to be a factor with Philadelphia.
No.
All but only 4 of their players are above the age of 20. Their youngest is 10. You may not see him too often, but let's just say the accomplishments of Jake Saxton make us all feel underachievers.
That's right.
Considering what we were doing at age 11.
I could hardly shoot a puck at age 11. I don't think I could lift it at that point.
I was playing Super Nintendo and Legos and going to school.
Oh my
God!
God!
Calgary gets on the board.
Wow, what a shot!
Gorgeous shot by
Mike. Let's see if
Falconer.
Mike, our producer here. Let's see if we can get that on replay. Falconer, as he said, with just a tremendous shot from here. That center court. Here as you see it in slow motion, you'll see a good centering pass here from Calgary. Still a little behind now. I think we're going to get that centering pass. There we go. Faulkner does a good job to get that on his forehand, and almost a no-look shot here on the replay. Wow, nice job.
Yeah, Mike has a great wrister. Oh, a little bounce there.
Grosscloss with the assist, Falconer with the goal, his 8th of the season. Calgary up 1-0 with 8:20 left in the first period. And Philadelphia.
Nate has a little bit of a break here. Backhand, tries to backhand it.
And it was Liam Miller who got the deflection. Philadelphia having to play from an unusual position. Now they are trailing. There's still plenty of time, of course. But how do they handle this stretch of adversity?
What do you guys think? Maybe nerves has something to do with this, being such a young team that haven't played in a lot of big games like this. If maybe.
Nice lob shot there by Mike at the line.
Rebound.
And Ben gets it in deep. Nate goes for it.
And we have another scrum for the ball. And if you're new to this sport, we use a wiffle ball for competition.
See Mike Falconer trying to bulldoze his way behind the net.
Pitts clears it to the corner. Saxton in a battle with Thorne. And it appears Saxton will win that battle. He will scoop it, and there's Falconer.
Mike gets it. Nate provides a nice screen there for the shot.
And Pitts is there to block it away. He'll clear it.
Oh, wow.
Not a bad shot either.
No.
That almost went in.
Yep.
Guys have another comment from Leslie Ann. She's watching from Oklahoma and cheering on the power play and her cousin, Alex Pitts. Go Philly, says Leslie Ann.
That's nice.
Falconer trying to get around some screens set up by Philadelphia.
Oh.
And Grosscloss could not cross. Remember, the offside line is the center line. And you have the ball to cross before a player does.
Boy, Calgary just looking like they're maybe a step quicker here than Philadelphia so far, as they just seem to be the first ones to every ball, and they haven't really allowed the power play to get any established pressure thus far in the game.
No, they're really shutting them down using a staggered defense technique.
Pitts and Thorne collide. Miller and Saxton go to the corner.
Mike is fighting for it here. Oh, wow.
Take your time, guys.
Turned over in the zone. Oh, wow.
Tried to get a crossover, but there was nobody there to receive it.
Here we go. Time to break out.
Up.
Nope. Looks like they're missing the speed.
Yeah, they just, I mean, Roddy, you can bring up, they just look so quick against you guys, and in these other games, they just don't quite seem to have that same.
They don't seem to have the finesse.
Yeah.
Falconer again tries to dump it into the Philadelphia zone. Pitts is there for the block. Now Saxton, Pitts, and Thorne tangle up, and Tim Coleman, the head official, stops play as the ball was trapped.
Is that his name? Okay, good. Now I can look up his phone number. Just kidding.
You know,
Tim Coleman, very involved in the sport, actually. He called a few games earlier today, and when he's not doing this, he's also a drama teacher at St. Paul Harding High School.
The one with the backwards hat, or the one in
the one who's sitting up for the face-off?
Oh, okay. Sorry, my beef is with the guy with the hat. So.
And you wonder why you had 3 penalties in the game today, criticizing the referees.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, the Minnesota Saints are a tough matchup, and not just for you, but they're a tough matchup for any team.
Nice pick by Ben there. Sean gets around.
Paul.
Nice lob shot. Nice speed on that one, too. Okay, Liam providing the screen there.
Hits, picking up the pass, fires.
Excellent shot on net.
Jeff Barrett stops it with the chair.
A little bit of a scrum in front.
Somebody lost the stick.
Sean dropped his stick.
Grosscloss picks it up.
Nate coming around.
I believe that might have been Philadelphia's first shot on goal. Yeah, I could see them get a little rush going now.
Yeah.
Saxton with the deflection and the steal.
Here it comes. Oh, tries to tuck it behind, but Jeff backs up just in time.
Saxton got his own rebound, though.
Jake tried to flip it over the net, but no one was there to receive it.
Yeah, it looked like Miller just wasn't quite able to anticipate that pass. It was a good idea there by Saxton, but Miller was just a little bit too high on the point.
And
it was a tough read for him anyways, though.
Pitts to Saxton. Saxton can't get the pass in cleanly for a breakaway attempt.
Great pressure by Nate to stop that breakaway from Jake.
And now we're going the other way. Grosscloss, he gets trapped. And Pitts will dump it. Saxton has it, but he has a screen set up.
Oh, wow. Jake looks stuck, and he's falling out of his chair. And his mom is in disarray with her hands on her head.
Oof.
She is shocked.
Hopefully Jake Saxton will be okay. That was quite a collision. Mike, I wonder if we could get a look at that collision here on replay.
Someone needs to get a camera on his mom. Oh, my God.
Let's take a look at this here.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
He looks okay.
Yeah, it was the Calgary defender coming back on the back check there, and he just kind of inadvertently hit Jake Saxton right there. Wasn't really anything dirty, at least in our opinion over here, but
they do assess a penalty to Calgary.
I mean, yeah, it was probably a penalty, but it wasn't anything on purpose where the guy's trying to ram it.
Yes, it's a 2-minute minor.
The thing is, Jake sits so far in his seat. One subtle bump, knocks him right over, so that could have been a major hit or a very minor hit. And he doesn't wear a seatbelt either, so that doesn't help the cause.
That would have been a scary situation.
That's right.
But Philadelphia goes on the power play with 3:40 left in the first period.
Oh, Jake bites. Mike makes the turn.
Ben Thorne is hit for, I think it was dangerous driving or aggressive driving?
Dangerous driving is
dangerous driving is the ruling.
We do have a comment from Beth, listening from New Jersey. As she's one of the aunts of one of the players on the team, and she says, "Go Philly power play." You guys are certainly right. This Philadelphia team has quite a following. Really great to see. And of course, you would think with how young this team is, that following is only going to grow over the years.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of relatives and parents are watching, and they tell their buddies, and those buddies tell their buddies, and
Alex gets around, Mike gets around Alex and just clears it. Great moves.
Then getting a deflection is Jake Hartline. Hartline is the primary defender for the power play.
Seems like a slower breakout today for sure.
Yeah, Calgary's just done a nice job really reading what they need to do and not giving Philadelphia a lot of room.
Well, it's no secret as Saxton is drawn away, kind of a puck trap defense, if you will. It's no secret for Philadelphia. It's akin to Maya Moore of the Minnesota Lynx. There are players are so potent and just so powerful. You are going to draw up your strategy to contain that player first and work on other facets later. And so far, Saxton not getting a lot of quality chances.
That's right.
Well, really, no one is on Philadelphia, and that's really, I think, all a credit to Calgary. They are playing really well in this game.
I'd also note that Calgary all have top speed chairs, so I don't know if any other team has the same amount of speed that Calgary and Philly have, but just it's something worth noting.
Well, absolutely, that's a good point.
They're able to keep up to Philly's speed.
Pitts.
Wow.
Deflected.
Oh, amazing.
That was close.
Great wrister by Faulkner there. Great reaction.
Aaron Gordon making the save.
Liam has it. Probably going to pass it across.
Calgary back at full strength.
Nice shot by Jake.
Wow, he almost got that in the net.
Yep.
From an impossible angle. That was close, guys.
He's able to score from anywhere. It's only a matter of time. And we see Jake get feisty here. I haven't seen this from him before.
Well, Philadelphia is starting to become more aggressive late in the first period, and sometimes you need a little bit of time to adjust, and we've seen this before. Teams, they put on a strong period. It's maintaining that edge that has been problematic.
That's right.
What?
1:20 left in the first period. Pitts on the backhand, and that bounces off the retaining wall.
Yeah.
Grossgloss in the corner. Saxton and Miller are there. Now Falconer trying to join the fray.
Question is Saxton.
Falconer gets it out. Credited to his grind mentality. And he's gonna be, oh wow.
Falconer trying to get the odd man rush.
Lifts
Liam
Liam's stick.
Are you right there?
Liam Miller making the stick check on that play.
And Liam trying to provide the screen, but gets cut off by Mike. Nice poke check by Mike. Alex with the ball, but Nate steals it. Drops it for Mike. Mike's just going to take it. Yep.
22 seconds. Calgary dumping it.
Ben Thorne's going to be the first of the ball.
The ball trapped in the corner that should elapse the first period here, and it will. So we'll reach the end of one. Calgary leading 1-0. I have to admit, this is a bit of a surprise.
Yes, it is, and it was a pleasure commentating. I must go now. Before I go, just want to give a shout out to the leagues who weren't able to make it in Texas and the Toronto Rock.
Well, before you go, just have one quick listener question that
Sure.
I think you're the only one who can answer. They want to know if Bryce Saxton is a 1 or a 2. You happen to know that.
Jake Saxton.
Jake Saxton, yeah.
He's a 2.
He's a 2, okay.
The
Yeah.
only one on Philly is Alex Pitt.
Alex did. Okay, that was our question from our viewer that I wanted
Okay.
to answer. Well, hey, glad to have you join us here during this first period, though.
Yeah, it was my pleasure, and I hope to do some more commentating tomorrow.
Thank you, Roddy Harb. And one quick reminder, you can watch him and the rest of the Ottawa team at 5 o'clock tomorrow in the third place game. They will face the loser of this game, so that should be a lot of fun. And 1-0. We have a couple minutes here in this intermission, so while we do that, or I should say while we're on break, we want to let you know you can join the conversation by communicating with the hashtag PowerHockeyCup 2014. I know it's a long one, but I'll repeat it again. PowerHockeyCup 2014. You can also get live up-to-the-minute stats and updates on PowerHockeyCup.com/2014. You can also follow them on Twitter at PowerHockeyCup. You can follow me on Twitter at TheSportsBrain. I know we had a lot of Philadelphia fans in our last game, particularly for Liam Miller. He had quite the fan section.
Oh, speaking of which, I have a fan, Heather, saying hello to Captain Liam Miller. She says, the power of the mullet.
I thought, just when you thought the mullet was retired.
He's bringing it back, you know, the 17-year-old kid, 16-year-old kid bringing back the mullet with some flair to it.
There you go.
But let's give a moment to acknowledge our sponsors, Impressions Incorporated. They do design, printing, packaging. Next we have Rolex Vans. Rolex Vans, Ability Care Partners Incorporated, PCA Choice Provider, www.abilitycare.com, awesomedesign.com, Dynaequip Material Handling Solutions. There's Rolex here, and Theo Technologies. Thank you for your support on this awesome tournament.
Absolutely, and guys, we're going to have to see what kind of adjustments Philadelphia can make here in this second period, as Roddy was bringing up that probably the fastest team the power play have seen so far in this tournament, and it's given them at least a little bit of trouble, although they did seem to kind of right the ship during the latter stages of the first period where they were able to get a little more offense put together, but still 1-0 here in favor of the Calgary Selects, looking to pull an upset and head to the Power Cup Championship tomorrow. Of course, don't forget you can connect with us on Ustream.
And we,
Mike, you have a Twitter follower?
No, I don't have a Twitter follower, but I'm saying we should probably put up my handle on the Ustream comment feed for those who are having difficulty finding it at The Sports Brain. And as always, we'd love to read your comments and tweets on the air.
We'll see if we can get that up there, Mike.
As we get ready to start period number 2, Philadelphia seemed to get more aggressive at the end of the first. Can they parlay that and get themselves in front here? And I guess the opposite end, does Calgary have enough to continue their performance? I mean, they shut out Philadelphia in the first period, and entering today's slate of games, Jake Saxton led all players in points. Right now, I believe he is tied after an 8-point performance by Chad Wilson, 7 goals and 1 assist.
They're definitely having a tough time against this Calgary team. They're very experienced. All these guys are veterans on this team, and the young guys are really showing their inexperience here, trying to get past these experienced old guys.
Falconer trying to work around a double team. He does, but the shot goes wide left, and it's picked up by Pitts. Tries to hook up with Saxton, can't do so. Winner faces Minnesota, the 2-time defending champions, and that shot from Falconer went wide left.
Oh, just couldn't quite hit Bryce Saxton there on that outlet pass. They just haven't been able to quite connect on those breakout attempts here for Philadelphia.
Philadelphia dumps it. Nobody's there.
Earlier we were praising Philadelphia for their great positioning, and Calgary is making them look all out of whack here.
Yeah, credit the Calgary Selects. They've definitely done their job and are playing a great game. Doing a good job scouting this team and knowing where to position their players.
Well, scouting not too difficult at this tournament, since every team plays every game and they don't go too far.
Exactly.
It's not like high school football. You and I are familiar with that, or how that can drive some folks batty.
Absolutely.
A lot of back and forth play. No serious attacks on the net yet in the second period. Deep shot from Pitts. Bounces off the chair of Barrett.
Barrett's been playing solid all tournament for Calgary, especially today when they've been playing some tough teams today. Yatbrin says, watching in PA to cheer on Alex Pitts and Philly. So thank you for tuning in and watching.
Falconer lobs it. Hartline stops. Rebound. Falconer had another look. Didn't have a great angle, though. Backhand. And it's stuck on the chair of Hartline. We will have a face-off at the Philadelphia zone. 11:21 on the clock. Calgary still leads 1-0 and would be an upset.
There's the 2 seed against the 1 seed, the 2 seed from Pool A against the 1 seed here in Pool B, and been a good matchup so far.
Rose Locke, who was one of our followers in Monday's game on Twitter, says we want the Jake train, and I'm sure Philadelphia does.
Choo-choo.
We have a scramble on the near side by the corner. Falconer wins that battle. high lob, and that's not going anywhere. Thorne tries to retrieve it. I'm sure everyone in Philadelphia is wondering about Saxton, and Pitts and Miller haven't been able to set up an attack either.
Well, speaking of which, here comes possibly the good chance for them, but it was cut off by that Calgary defense. I can't quite catch the number there.
Well, they screened out Saxton. Grosskloss was involved in that screen. There just wasn't much that Jake Saxton could do. Thorne is speeding down. And it's picked up by Philadelphia, and Miller tried to pass it to Saxton, can't do so. We have a stoppage in play. Offside on Calgary.
Adam Ellis, one says, I got a lot of friends in Calgary, but I am rooting on the Young Guns right now.
Got to get some Calgary fans here on our social stream. It's been all Philadelphia fans. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but man, this Philadelphia team has a big following. But come on, Calgary fans, got to represent yourselves if you're watching online.
Oh, Canada.
There you go. Oh, Mike. Got to mute your mic if you start singing again.
Our home and native land. Well, not our home and native land. And we have another whistle. We will have another face-off in the Philadelphia zone.
And we just saw the big three there for Philadelphia. With a brief conversation, maybe trying to draw up some kind of play off of this face-off to see if they can get on the scoreboard.
Saxton fires, and that was deflected. There were a lot of chairs in the lane of that shot.
Probably Philly's best look at the goal so far, though.
Yeah, but it was good positioning there by the Calgary defense. They had a line of 3 chairs standing there in front of the net. Really not giving Saxton a lot of room when he had that open look.
And we have another stoppage in play with 9:16 remaining. Another face-off forthcoming in the Calgary zone.
Of course, winner of this game will take on the Minnesota Saints, who had a dominant victory over the Ottawa Capitals.
I have to imagine the Saints would be the favorite team. Well, if Calgary advances, and if Philadelphia advances too, and that, I'm not suggesting that Minnesota would prefer one team over another, but
well, they have seen Calgary already, so they at least know probably a little bit more about them than they do Philadelphia. But again, as you brought up, Mike, everyone's here at this same building. I'm sure they've seen enough of each opponent where they have a good idea of what to expect. Oh, nice stick check there by the Faulkner over there for Calgary.
And I was on hand to call the Minnesota-Calgary game. The Saints won that one 3-1, and that game was actually pretty close. There was a goal disallowed by Calgary because a pass deflected off somebody's chest, and that's not allowed. So that would have tied the game at 2-2. So a Calgary-Minnesota game would not be a washout.
Another fan from Delco. Let's go, Philly. Your fans in Delco.
Delco, Pennsylvania, I presume.
Also have a comment on here from Beth saying, hold steady, Philly. Easy for me to say.
Hold steady there, Brett.
Saxton. Can he clear the defender? Not really. And not able to do much there. The defender on Calgary is Keith Bourbonnais, and he will hang out in the back line.
People on chat are trying to even up the support for Calgary.
Oh, we got some Calgary supporters on the stream feed now.
Not much of a response on Twitter this time. Miller has it, fires, and it's stopped by Bourbonnais.
I bet we get more follows if you start dropping more math problems.
Well, we got Mike on play-by-play. I don't think he can quite do math and that at the same time. See if Miller can get a good look here, but nice job by Calgary again to cut off the angle.
Falconer with possession. Pitts tried the stick check. Miller goes back to retrieve it.
Philly really trying to turn on the aggressiveness now. They spent a lot of time there in Calgary's zone.
Oh, I wonder if Pitts was trying to get that across over to Miller on the weak side, but again, it was blocked by the Calgary defense.
Shot goes wide right from Falconer. And Saxton picks it up. Look at how Tim Coleman had to jump behind the retaining wall, otherwise he would have been barreled over.
Wouldn't be able to call any games tomorrow if he couldn't feel his feet to get over here. That would have hurt.
That's a pure athlete right there.
Falconer has it. Fires from deep. And Hartline just stops it. Rebound, though, to Grosclass, and that goes wide right. Hartline, a good stationary defender, but has difficulty with maneuverability, which we did certify as a word. Saxton with the wrist shot, that goes to the retaining wall. And we'll head the other way with Falconer leading the way.
Good puck protection by Falconer.
And he has no choice but to dump it off, as they couldn't get around, and he couldn't find anyone to pass it to that would stay on side.
Guys, both teams are just playing really good defense here in this second period. We have not had a lot of scoring chances for either side, and talking about how well Calgary's playing defensively, give some credit here to Philadelphia as well. They've really battened down the hatches and played good defense as well.
On the chat says, any Calgary fans know what happened to the red Mohawk? I'm assuming that was Falconer.
Trying to go without it then.
4 minutes, 18 seconds left in the second period, and strong defense from both teams, but and we've said this before, you still have to, for Philadelphia, they still have to find a way to get the ball in the net, because good defense now isn't going to help them.
You almost get the feeling that 3 goals might be enough to win this game from either side with the way both teams are playing defense. Heck, even 2 goals.
Calgary can even get a second goal. That would seemingly...
It just feels like one of those games that could end up being 2-1 or only 3-2.
Like getting that certain itch that you gotta scratch.
Well,
the lowest scoring game we have in this tournament actually took place in our quarterfinal round between Minnesota and Calgary. That was a 2-1 overtime decision won by Calgary. And that game went scoreless until the final period.
Keep in mind, they didn't play very long ago. They were the game before last, so a short rest for them.
Scrum. Pitts has it. Nobody there. Wraparound. And we go to the corner. Behind the net. That shot goes off of Barrett. Rebound from Miller, no good. Saxton trying to get under there. Pitts, a third try. Saxton has to stay out of the crease. He does, but he can't get a stick in position. And Calgary survives their biggest scare defensively.
Right now, Philadelphia has really picked up the intensity. Their best shift of the game by far. That was the first time they had really had the Calgary defense scrambling to try to make some blocks, as and a couple of good scoring chances.
Well, in Calgary, or I should say Philadelphia, doesn't shift too often. It's the big three, and that's pretty much it.
Yep, that was a great three barrage of shots. Good looks for the power play, and also from we got a fan from Calgary Timekeeper. Good stream, guys. Looks great. So thank you for your support, and keep watching.
We'll send you your check in Canadian dollars next week.
With royalties.
No, we didn't pay him to plant that comment. Or her.
It wasn't the situation where we say, oh, gee, Emma Peden says you guys are doing a good job. You know, on Ustream.
At least I got that reference.
Yeah, you got that, yep.
Mike was too busy doing math in his head.
That's right.
Rose Locke chiming in, saying Liam rocking the Patrick Kane mullet, referencing the Chicago Blackhawks player, pretty much makes this tournament.
Getting late here in the second period, still 1-0. Calgary very much living up to a defensive reputation, shutting down the Minnesota Selects and keeping the high-powered Philadelphia power play off the scoreboard. Mike, maybe we can do some more math between periods, and the fact that I wanted to know how many goals Philadelphia is averaging per game, because it's really surprising to see them shut out here in the second this far.
Mike, I just want to know what Saxton's WAR is.
Philadelphia was the highest scoring team entering today's slate of games. Through 4 games, they had scored 29 goals. That's an average of 7.2 a game. And they have yet to score here. Calgary picking up, when you calculate the goals they have, they are at 22 goals. So they're averaging about 4 games. So they're not completely anemic on offense, but they're getting it done on defense. Calgary with the goals allowed average through 4 games of 1.75. And as it stands, they actually would be leading the tournament after Ottawa gave up 8 against the Minnesota Saints in their semifinal.
1 minute remaining.
And that's a deep shot going in for Falconer, and Calgary continuing to do those long drives, the long shots, and it pays off. They're up 2-0, and the way they have contained Philadelphia's offense, that might be enough to punch their ticket, although we still have another period to play.
Absolutely right. 2 goals very well could be enough. It's going to be tough enough to get 1 goal here against this Calgary team. Find a way to try to get 2.
Falconer picking up his 2nd goal of the game and his 9th of the season, or tournament.
That's a real big kind of backbreaker there, game decider, even in the second period here for Philadelphia. They need to get rolling fast.
Absolutely, and I'm sure if you're Calgary, you'll take the puck getting tied up behind the net. At least some more time.
Youth versus experience here. The youngest player on Calgary's team is 22, and that's Ben Thorne. Whereas Philadelphia's youngest is 10. The second period comes to an end. And age could trump youth. We'll find out as Calgary holds on to a 2-0 lead over Philadelphia. We'll pause and listen to some Cantina music and return for the 3rd period. This is Power Hockey Cup 2014 on Ustream.
And we're back here live at the Roy Wilkins Auditorium. I'm Mike York, along with Mike Peden and Brett Johnson, bringing you the second period here of power hockey against the Calgary Selects and the Philadelphia Power Play. Calgary's up 2-0. I'm going to take it to my play-by-play announcer, Mike Peden.
We're just about to start period number 3. 2 goals from Mike Falconer have summarized this game, including a deep shot with less than a minute to go in the second period. And nothing seems to indicate that Calgary should be concerned, but they can't punch their ticket to the championship round yet. Winner will play at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Loser will play the third place game at 5 p.m. Every game from tomorrow's slate can be seen here on Ustream.
Absolutely, and looking forward to that. We'll have 3 consolation games, the third place game, and the championship. Should make for a good final day of hockey.
Kind of the past and the future squaring down here in the face-off.
Calgary wearing red, Philadelphia wearing black. And again, it is experience versus youth. The young Philadelphia team with the 11-year-old prodigy Jake Saxton, and the older, wiser Calgary team. And Calgary doing a great job limiting the effectiveness of Philadelphia's young prodigies. And Philadelphia not very deep. It's primarily a 3-player team on offense. Thorne tried to get the rebound, and had he been able to put that one in, that would have just about sealed it, I would think. Stoppage and play.
Well, still a lot of time here for Philadelphia to work with 14:06 left here in the third period. Of course, we do have stop time, so that should certainly help extend the game for the power play.
Saxton has it. Hasn't been able to get a clean look all game.
He's had a couple of shots on, but usually it's been 3 Calgary chairs in his way. It's been the same with Miller and Pitts as well.
Another deep shot as Calgary clears it. And it rolls underneath the chair of Hartline. Gordon will dump it off. That shot glides wide left from Falconer. And Pitts will pick it up. Falconer pursuing. Saxton, again another tough angle. Calgary always has players eyeing his position, so even when he receives a pass, he just doesn't have a lane to pull through.
Yep, that's a credit to Calgary for closing all those lanes up, and definitely knowing what's going to happen, what they're trying to do to their defense.
This could be a big chance here, Mike.
Grossclaws has it, trying to wrap around. One-timer to Falconer, deflects off.
Boy, that would have been a backbreaker. 3 goals almost certainly should be enough.
They need to stop leaving him open. That was a great setup there, and he was wide open. Nobody really on him.
And time, Philadelphia's biggest enemy right now.
Well, still plenty of it with just under 12 minutes, but
Falconer with another deep one, and that's one reason he's been difficult to stop is his willingness to take shots behind the center line.
Oh, almost had a wraparound chance for Miller, but a good job there by the Calgary defense to poke check that away at the last second.
Philadelphia a little bunched up here. Nobody going to the center at all.
Yeah, it's kind of everyone following the ball rather than trying to get people open to receive some passes.
It's akin to Futurama's parody of Space Invaders, shooting where the object is instead of where it's going.
You spent a lot of quarters on that machine, didn't you, Mike?
That was a good game.
Now, did you always shoot at where the ship was at, or did you manage to anticipate its direction?
I've never played that game.
Oh, I think we're going to get a high stick call coming up. So it might be against Calgary.
I was more the Ninja Turtles arcade game there. But yeah, let's see what the... Oh, no penalty call.
Yeah, it was just a high stick. I think that will just mean a face-off deep here in Calgary select territory.
Face-off won by Calgary. Falconer dumps it into the Philadelphia zone, where it will be picked up by Pitts. We want to remind you, for those of you who happen to be watching this from the St. Paul area, as Miller, that shot went off of Barrett, and Philadelphia's had a couple of those chances.
That's their best chance of the game. Along with that one, we just saw two off the rebound chance.
And now Falconer has a one-on-one, fires from deep, Hartline stops it again.
Every once in a while, Philadelphia will give one little opportunity, and they eventually have to take advantage of these because they seem to be only coming about once every 5 or 6 minutes.
I was going to say, if you're living in the Twin Cities metro area and would like to check out this action, we'll be here tomorrow. I'll be here all day, and admission is free. So stop in the Roy Wilkins Auditorium and check out a national championship event taking place here in the Twin Cities area.
Yeah, right next to the XL Energy Center, for those of you who may be a little unfamiliar with the downtown St. Paul area. Literally next door to the XL Energy Center where the Wild play.
The Lynx aren't the only team that can bring championships to this area.
That's right.
9-11 left in regulation, and more of the same from the two teams. Calgary just winning the loose puck battles, able to dump it into Philadelphia territory, and the young Philadelphia squad just isn't quite sure how to adapt. They've had a couple of chances. No breakaways, though, so Calgary's defense preventing the odd man rushes, and that is a huge testament to their defensive performance today.
Again, Philadelphia's passes need to be a little bit better. They're always out in front of all their players, and that's easy pickings for the Calgary defense.
Yeah, especially when Calgary has 2 or more players sitting way back on defense. You certainly can't afford to overshoot the players on those passes.
It's a conservative style, but it seems to work for them as their only losses to Minnesota. That's an onside pass for Grosskloss. He backs up, tries the deke. He may have been better served by taking a shot at Hartline.
Yeah, he tried to deke around the Philadelphia defenseman, and he did a good job just delaying him enough to allow his teammates to come back and help out.
Philadelphia's all in there, and that's why they didn't see the cherry pick there.
Miller had nowhere to go. They tried to center it to Pitts. That didn't work. And the ball was trapped underneath the chair of Barrett, so we'll have a face-off in the Philadelphia zone, or the Calgary zone, and it's a little early to be discussing this, but if Philadelphia is not able to find a score or two here Does Gary Saxton and crew pull the goalie?
Well, they've already had all three of their guys playing up a little bit further, adjusting their strategy as we saw the odd man rush going the other way, but yeah, still way too early for that. But if they're still down by 2 goals at the 2 or 3 minute mark, you certainly might see them think about doing that.
Philadelphia wins the faceoff, but Saxton was the victim of a stick check. Falconer with a high lob. Hartline halts the trajectory of the shot. And Saxton having a tough time. There you see it again. Calgary just dropping back on defense. The electric wheelchair variant of the puck trap.
Yep, Calgary just sitting there waiting to meet him. I guess we can't call it the blue line, the center line, but they're doing a good job just waiting and waiting and waiting and not allowing a lot of room, but here's an opportunity.
Saxton wins the battle and the shot goes wide left.
Well, it looks like we got a penalty here against.
Appears it will go against Calgary. It's against Mike Falconer, perhaps.
Well, this has to be a chance for you to cash in for Philadelphia.
This is. Falconer will serve a 2-minute minor.
You got Calgary's best player off the ice. You have a man advantage. You have to take advantage.
Well, technically speaking, all players are off the ice.
Yes.
Could you imagine if we played on ice?
Yeah, make the game quicker.
The passing would probably be sloppier, but...
And so would the rolling, because it's ice.
There'd be no braking.
There's no breaks. The fans that are sitting behind the Calgary zone would be would need some hazard protection.
Calgary.
And Calgary is going to call a timeout with 6:42 left.
Number 13, Falconer for Calgary.
If we can get some power play numbers for Philadelphia here in the tournament.
Interference is the call.
Looking at their power play numbers, we can find those on here. I'm not quite seeing them.
Did we ever find out what the penalty was for?
Interference.
Interference.
Correct.
For those who are wondering on chat.
Well, and that reminds us, if you want to get your tweets or comments in on Ustream, you still have a few minutes to do so. You can drop a few comments on Ustream or hit me up on Twitter at @TheSportsBrain. And as we mentioned before, we will be here all day tomorrow. I will be calling all 5 games.
Linda J.
Go ahead, in the biannual tournament.
Linda J. Dubé says, is it too early to pull their goalie?
Yes.
6:42, especially on a power play situation.
Well, Mike, you and I called a hockey game once where you thought a team should have pulled their goalie in the second period. So.
Yeah, I did. I've been there all day.
You were confused as to what period it was. I had to give you a hard time with that. But I think in all seriousness, though, yeah, 6:42, a little bit too early. Got to wait till at least the 2 or 3 minute mark to think about doing that.
But Mike, what time would it be to neuter their defense?
In Philadelphia's case, any time would be a good time to neuter the defense.
Bring them all up for the attack, correct? Is that what you're referring to?
Well, what I'm suggesting is neutering Calgary's defense. So any time would be good for them to just find a way to pick apart the defense. So we are back under action here.
This is going to be their chance with one less player on the floor.
Their top player. And no, Saxton, wait.
Yes, that's a goal.
Yes, that is a goal, Mike.
That just barely snuck into that top left corner.
Yes. It was tough to tell originally, but Saxton got the deflection and it bounced in. So Saxton scores a power play goal. I believe that is his first of the tournament. Overall, Saxton recording his 17th goal, and it's a 2-1 game. Philadelphia has to feel like they're in this. Now Liam Miller wins the face-off. He can't handle the puck, though. That goes off the chair of Barrett. And Philadelphia feeling energized right now.
14 seconds into that power play they scored shows what a job Faulkner has done. As soon as he leaves the ice, the power play score right away.
Power play goal.
Hopefully this will definitely give them some momentum that they desperately needed.
They almost had Liam Miller get the tying goal right off the face-off, but they have plenty of time to work with here with a little less than 6 minutes.
That was a tough penalty to take, and I assume if you're Calgary, you don't want any more penalties.
Especially to Faulkner. Oh boy, Saxton just couldn't quite get enough oomph on that shot to get that towards the net.
Philadelphia playing much more aggressively now.
Boy, they just caught a huge break. A second ago, Faulkner had the ball hit him in his back, and now he's got another break chance.
Rose Claus. No. Rebound, no. Saxton having a little trouble handling it. Now he's clear. He won't get a shot off.
Yeah, he had it on his backhand. If he could get it to his forehand, he would have had a pretty good chance to try to get a lob on net.
Brad Malger, handle cool_cripple. That's it. We're not making that up.
Welcome to people with disabilities. Me and Brett are used to that.
Well, what did he say, Mike?
Well, he's saying, let's go Philly, put on your rally caps, hashtag PowerHockeyCup 2014. I was just not used to seeing a Twitter handle with a name that some would possibly construe as insulting.
No, you got to hang around me and Brett. People in wheelchairs and disabilities, they call each other that. It's like a term of endearment. Only it's kind of like, just a word between friends, basically.
Well, Beth says, go Philly. They're not out of this game yet.
Well, Philly hoping to cripple the defense of Calgary one more time and equalize this game. Or I should say equal the game. Find the equalizer. Because even if they can get just one, they would force overtime. And, well, as the Lynx proved last night, you can win those overtime games. It was a 112-108 double overtime win. An instant classic. And we have an instant classic brewing here.
Especially if this one goes to overtime, because you get the feeling it could go for a while with the way both these teams are playing.
Well, they play 5 minutes and then they go to a shootout, so there is a limit.
Correct, yes.
I'm sorry, Brett. I know you're a fan of the traditional rules, but we can't. I don't know if we can afford 6 or 7 overtimes. Reminds me of, well, you remember the Lakeville North Minnetonka game?
Yes, in the Minnesota High School Championship, correct.
That went to 6 overtimes.
I bet the people watching don't.
Anyways, though, Philadelphia, it's getting to that time where they're...
Well, they can't pull the goalie right now, and the net is dislodged. Falconer tried the wraparound. Remember, players, well, most of the time you're not going to sub them out unless there's a stoppage in play or if the ball is deep into the opposing territory. So Philadelphia needs to get the ball in the Calgary zone before they can consider pulling the goalie. And then you have to work on that coordination. So
it's crippling coordination, Mike.
And Malger, our cool cripple, says, Liam, harness the power of Dr. B. I'm not quite sure who Dr. B is.
We'll take this right here. Calgary's getting the ball all tied up along the side. That wasted a good 20 seconds.
3 minutes on the clock. Philadelphia needs one more goal to stay alive. Calgary, if they hang on, they face Minnesota, the Saints, tomorrow for the PowerHockeyCup 2014 championship. Now a scrum near the Calgary net.
I think Pitts is a little too close, not getting it, being able to corral it.
And Falconer dumps it away. Grosskloss is onside, but Calgary is just more concerned, I presume, with time than scoring. If they get another one here, though, that would just about seal it.
And they'll take tying up the ball right down in the corner as well.
Falconer was looking for the finishing blow. Scramble for the puck. It will be won by Calgary. 2 minutes and counting.
Another big clear that's going to will take us to probably at least the 1:30 mark before Philadelphia can get it to the other end.
Not pulling Aaron Gordon yet. They try to get the pass into Saxton, cannot do so.
And now we'll keep an eye on Gordon.
Wrap around, that was close. Let it go, it glides in. It will be waiting for the ruling.
It's a goal.
It is a goal, yes it is.
Let's see replay.
I thought somebody walked into the crease. Saxton got the initial play going on the wraparound, and then somebody poked in the rebound. I thought there might have been a crease violation. We'll check the replay.
I think it was either Pitts or Miller.
Yeah, they were just trying to sit down.
See, Saxton misses the wraparound.
Boy, and Calgary just couldn't quite clear it. They had a chance to clear it.
And there was a player in the crease, but there was also a Calgary player in there, I believe, and so that negated the crease violation.
Yeah, but you saw right there, Calgary had a chance to clear the zone and couldn't. They fanned on the clearing attempt, and that allowed Philadelphia to take advantage and tie this game up.
We are even at 2. I'll throw all that strategy of pulling the goalie out the window now.
Now how do you respond if you're Calgary? You've been playing defense basically this entire period. Now you got to find a way to get your offense going again to try to score a goal.
I mean, their defensive showcase has been impeccable the entire game.
For Philadelphia.
Falconer wins the faceoff, fires from deep. Liam Miller will get credit for the goal.
Jake
Saxton gets the assist. Saxton leading the tournament in assists. He picks up his 9th. And for Liam Miller, the captain, Pockets Have I, is his Twitter handle. He picks up his 8th goal of the year. Final minute of play. If we do not score, ball goes under the retaining wall, so we'll have a face-off with 53.7. If neither team scores, we will move to a sudden death overtime. We already had one today. Calgary was in that overtime, beating Minnesota Selects 2-1, and they're 53.7 seconds away from facing a second overtime game in a day.
And now we have a little chair malfunction, it looks like, for one of the Mike Falconer of Calgary, I should say. And oh man, that's a big loss if
they can't get it repaired.
Exactly. I mean, go back to when Falconer had that penalty. It just took Philadelphia 14 seconds to score when he left the floor. That's how important he is to this Calgary team.
And it looks like they do get it repaired, and that's a sigh of relief for Calgary. In our last game, Moses York, remember, had to sit out for a few minutes when his chair, his left front axle, was caught out of alignment, and he had to get a replacement chair from a teammate.
We have a comment, Amanda Judge here. Whoever wins this has been awesome.
Well, whoever Dr. B is, Liam Miller harnessed the power. Maybe Brad Mauger can give us an explanation of Dr. B. I've heard of Dr. J and Dr. Phil.
Doctor Who.
And Doctor Who, of course.
And Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss.
That's
Dr. McCoy.
Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
All right, that's enough. Let's get what are you
Dr. House MD. We could go on.
Nurse Jackie. Oh, wait, that doesn't fit.
So you lose. All right, 40 seconds here.
40.8, face-off at the Philadelphia zone. Calgary, if they can get a win here, well, it doesn't look like it. I'm going to say if they could get a win, they could have set up an attack right away. Here comes Saxton on his left hand, fires a shot. That goes off the Jarrett Barrett, ball still live, rebounds, and it goes into the corner on the near side. Saxton is there, 23 seconds remaining.
Oh boy, almost a second ago, that almost deflected off of a Calgary chair into their own net.
That would have been a nightmare after fanning a clear-out attempt that led to the tying goal from Liam Miller. We have a stoppage in play as the retaining wall was dislodged. 12.4 seconds left. Enough time, as we have some fans behind us cheering on our competitors. If Calgary wins the face-off, they'd have enough time to race down the floor and set up one more shot. If Philadelphia wins, I have to imagine they'll try to set up Jake Saxton.
I'm going to be a purist with Brett here. I don't want to see a shootout here. I want them to play as long as they can.
Well, it's been such a great game. I understand that we can't, rent the place all night, but it'd be too bad since this has been a great game between two evenly matched teams. But
I heard Mike would fork the bill for a multiple overtime game.
Yeah, Mike Peden will.
I just forked down $2,000 on a new computer.
Boo-hoo.
So a timeout.
And of course we do have a 5-minute sudden death victory.
And we have an explanation on Dr. B. Brad Mauger. Liam, my boy, way to harness the power of Dr. Bonneman. He is the neurologist for both Brad Mauger and Liam Miller. I'm cheering him and Luke on from Orlando.
Also have a comment from Beth saying, way to go Philly, as soon as they scored that game-tying goal. A lot of people tuning in, cheering on both teams.
Linda J. Dubé says, I want to see a shootout.
Well, there you go.
Somebody is trying to spite you, Brett. I'm indifferent when it comes to shootouts versus overtimes.
That'd be interesting if we do go to a shootout. I'm not sure if it would really favor one team or another. I suppose if you were to... it would maybe favor Philadelphia since they have 3 great shooters. Meanwhile, Calgary really kind of only has Falker as their big shooter, but again.
Adam Ellis makes up a good point here. Regardless of how this ends, imagine how good the Philadelphia team will be in 2 more years.
Heck, even 12 more years.
You plan on televising that tournament, right, Mike?
If I'm not dead, yes.
All right, we will postpone our plans for you.
So here we go, 12 seconds.
Winning the face-off and winning it cleanly will be crucial here for both teams.
Just to remind you, the clock on our screen says 9. It's actually 12 seconds, so they...
12.4 on the clock. Here's the face-off. It is won by Calgary. They have time. They get the headman pass off, but they're not going to be able to hook up with Grosskloss in time, and the clock will expire. Overtime is in our sights. Philadelphia rallies back, and they are still in contention for the championship. 2-2 is our score. We'll play 5 minutes of sudden death overtime. If neither team scores, we head to a shootout. Once more, you can continue to submit your comments on the Ustream feed, and also hit me up on Twitter at @TheSportsBrain. Brad Mauger certainly has. From Orlando, I'm sure it's nice and warm down there. Well, Brad and Mike, you've had a chance to witness a colloquial chess match between Philadelphia and Calgary. The power play having to work much harder than the selects, I presume, to score, but for Calgary, most of their attacks have come from deep. They're not able to get a lot at the front of the opposing net. What should we expect in this bonus session?
More of the same here, just long shots from Calgary, and I think Calgary kind of still has the tiny bit of an upper hand here in the experience-wise here, because they've just been in an overtime game here, and they could probably pull it out again here. But the youth, the young guns have the energy, so it's going to be a good, nice mix-up here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because Calgary primarily has to score from those long-range shots. Meanwhile, Philadelphia seems like they have to get a little closer to the net. Puck possession was certainly in favor of Philadelphia during that last period. So even though they're dominating puck possession, like we said, Calgary can pretty much score from anywhere on the floor. About a minute away from dropping the puck here in OT.
Not Alex M says he's in physical pain from watching this overtime. And then also JB Hockey, I'm sorry, 2014. This OT will be intense.
Is Mike on what?
Absolutely, should be a very intense overtime period. And Mike Keaton, as you said, kind of the strategy all goes out the window. You're in a 2-2 game.
Well, it doesn't go out the window, but now it.
What you had before.
Yes. Well, the imperative is to score.
Yeah.
Yes, the imperative is to score or do your best to do so.
Yeah, because during that entire third period, it was Calgary just sitting back and playing a defensive wall. Now they have to try to get at least a little bit of offense going, or I suppose in theory you could play that defensive wall and play for the shootout, but I'm not sure you want to get in the shootout.
As the saying goes, playing not to lose can have severe repercussions.
Good, just like the guy says, you play to win the game.
That's Herman Edwards.
Yes, Herman Edwards.
Well, I would say that too, because again, with those 3 shooters for Philadelphia, I don't think you want to go to a shootout against
And
those
remember,
guys.
1 goal and you're done. So playing conservatively may not be in your best interest, but we'll see. Calgary, as we mentioned, was in an overtime game already, a match actually Tim Coleman called along with Mike York. And that was won by Calgary 2-1. So they have some experience today. Philadelphia, their closest game throughout this tournament. But up until about the 6-minute mark, or the Calgary dominated this match defensively, and it appeared they were going to waltz in to the championship round. A penalty to Mike Falconer for interference changed the narrative in a hurry, and Philadelphia going for the kill right away. That bounced off the chair from Barrett. And fans
behind the net were ready to go nuts if that one went in. Oh,
they are emotionally attached to this outcome. Winner gets Minnesota, loser gets Ottawa, and we should have a stoppage in play here as the retaining wall took a hit. We'll have a face-off at the Calgary zone. 4:32 left.
Just like to mention, we have 95 plus fans watching. Let's see if we can get it to 100 again.
Absolutely. Make sure to tell your friends this one's going to overtime, and it's going to be a great finish.
2 goals from Mike Falconer set the stage, and it appeared Philadelphia was just listless, couldn't get around the puck trap of Calgary, but the penalty to Falconer took him out. That gave Philadelphia the space, and then a whiffed clear out led to a rebound from Liam Miller, and now Saxton gets the ball. He fires from deep, and he gets the game-winning goal! Unbelievable! Philadelphia was dead. They were finished for all intents and purposes, and they'll play in the championship round. Jake Saxton, the 11-year-old prodigy, is now the hero for the power play. The final score, 3-2. The winning goal comes 37 seconds into the overtime period, and Jake Saxton, wow, he picks up his 18th goal and probably his biggest goal of the tournament.
Absolutely, he just got a burst of speed. That was, I think, the first time in the entire game he had gotten past the Calgary defense and had a clean look at the net on his forehand. I don't think prior to that he had any clean looks with his forehand at the net, but he finally got one in overtime. He was able to carry that shot and put Philadelphia in the championship. Just one breakdown by the Calgary defense ends up costing him. And you got to congratulate them on a great effort shutting down this Philadelphia team for most of the game. But in the end, it was just one break from Saxton, and he got the victory.
We'll see if we can get a word with Saxton before we head out, as I would certainly like to talk to him, and I think he deserves a post-game interview for rescuing this team.
We shall consult with our director here, Mike, and see if we do that or not.
Yes, as long as you take a drink of water there, Mike, and settle down.
That's all right. That's okay. I'm not going to channel my North Washburn call to the same extent. For explanation, it was a basketball game, crazy finish, and I just exploded because the finish you could not script and was a buzzer-beating 3. And
well, this was similar enough.
It was a game-winning overtime goal in sudden death. So let's thank our sponsors one more time while we wait to see if we can get Jake Saxton over here to speak with us. And our sponsors include Field Technologies, Ability Care Partners Incorporated, a PCA choice provider, AwesomeDesign.com, Dynaquip Material Handling Solutions, Impressions Incorporated, specializing in design printing and packaging, and Rolex Vans. We thank you for your support. We'll preview the third place and championship games in a moment, but first, let's mention that Brad Malger says down but never out. Go Philly power play, one more to go, and he is indeed correct. There is one more to go, a match with Minnesota. So we've had a chance to see our third place and championship participants. Let's start with the third place game. Calgary against Ottawa. That could be a defensive duel between the two Canadian powers.
Absolutely, that'll be a good matchup. They haven't played yet in this tournament, and it'll be a good game.
That's right, and they are going to be a team to beat, and the Saints are going to be for some good challenge here by the youngsters.
And Philadelphia will have another challenge against Minnesota, but I presume it's the matchup fans have salivated for this week. Jake Saxton against Minnesota's prodigy, Chad Miller. Chad Wilson, that's right. Jake Saxton against Chad Wilson. An 11-year-old against a 25-year-old. What do you make of that matchup?
Well, perhaps we can ask Mr. Jake Saxton about that. We'll see if we can maybe grab him for an interview here at the end, guys.
Definitely, and as soon as they're done taking pictures here, we'll definitely grab him, and we'll be right back, and we'll send you down to floor level.
So what are your thoughts, Brett, on
the championship? Going to be a great game tomorrow. Chad certainly dominated the game of power hockey for a while, but the prodigy against the established veteran should be a fun game tomorrow. And of course, outside of those two, both Philadelphia and Minnesota have excellent supporting casts as well.
It will be a meeting between the top two offensive producers in this tournament. Chad Wilson getting 7 goals today in an 8-1 win over Ottawa. And Jake Saxton, no hat trick for him, but the goal of the tournament thus far. And how about the resolve from Philadelphia? Because we were discussing when do you pull the goalie. They had trouble just lining up an offensive attack, and things unraveled for Calgary, starting with the penalty against Mike Falconer.
Absolutely, yeah. We were, about the 6-minute mark, and we were talking about how they're maybe only a couple minutes away from needing to pull the goaltender to score 2 goals. But the big one, though, that really got them going was that penalty against Falconer, because he scored 14 seconds into that power play. And then from there, they kind of picked up some energy and were able to get the game tied with just over a minute to go in the third period.
Tell Jesse not to.
And then the second goal was the result of a miscue on Calgary, as you noted.
Hey, Jesse! Don't turn it off. Turn it back on.
Had to get an issue resolved here. That second goal started on a Saxton wraparound. That didn't go in, but there was a couple of rebounds. Calgary, I couldn't see who was trying to clear it out, whiffed the clear attempt, and then Liam Miller was able to bat it in.
Absolutely, and crazy finish to the game, and that'll make for a good matchup tomorrow. 7 o'clock here from the Roy Wilkins Auditorium. And have a full production on the way for that one.
I think they're ready for your mic.
Yeah, head on down there, Pete.
All right, I guess I'm going to go down there.
You're doing
All right, so while we're waiting here, I'll just let you know that Mike Peden heading down there to a little interview taken care of here on our broadcast as we're getting everything all set up. And I believe we're almost ready here for Mike. Oh, hold on, we don't have Mike.
Mike, you gotta get lined up over here.
We don't have audio from Mike here.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
I cut it off. You gotta get him lined up first. Back up some more. All right.
Yeah, still trying to get everything lined up here. Little makeshift interview for you here on.
Have him sit over there by you. Okay, so we need you to back up. Jesus Christ, tell Tyler not to do that. Tyler! Leave that on!
Leave that one on too!
Alright.
Just sit up there.
Who's up there? No one's up there. Mike, did I get it working again? Yeah, you did. Line up the camera, please. On this one, that one.
To the right!
They're good, Mike.
Okay. Alright, there we go.
All right, well, thank you for your patience, and I am here standing with Jake Saxton, and actually, I'm going to take a seat with Jake Saxton because, and there's his captain, Liam Miller, who one of your buddies said you harness the power of Dr. B. We'll get to that in a moment. Jake, let's start with you. The game-winning goal, how did you get it?
Well, I got it by Alex winning the faceoff and Liam and Alex tying Falconer up, and I was able to get the loose puck and ball I'm in, and just go up the court and shoot it on the net and score.
Talk about your resolve, your resiliency. Calgary goes up 2-0, and they had a very strong defense. Their puck track was on point, and then you started to get the momentum back on a Mike Falconer penalty that you put in for a score. How did you weather through that adversity?
Well, we knew that when Falconer came off, it would be easier and we would have more space to control the ball and to shoot it. So we just wanted to take advantage of that and put it in the back of the net.
And then what about that second goal? You had the wraparound, and then your buddy Liam put it in after a crazy scramble to tie this game.
Yes. Good thing that it was a good thing that I was able to get the loose puck and Liam was able to tuck it in. So that helped us really get the momentum back, and we knew that we could win this.
All right, we'll get to you in a moment, but let's head over here to Liam Miller, who scored the game-tying goal. And Jake, well, what do you mean you guessed? So you did.
You know, that was a crazy play. I don't even know what happened, but it went in, and I'm happy. That was a great goal.
How challenging was this Calgary team? I mean, you were the top scoring team in this tournament, and Calgary had shut you out through 2.5 periods.
Props to them. They were an insane team. I mean, they have a lot of strength and a lot of heart, and I'm surprised they didn't beat us. But, you know, it just shows how resilient we are and how we can fight back and get that win.
And your buddy, I think Brad Mauger, said you harness the power of Dr. B, reference to your neurologist. Who is this Dr. Bonneman, and what power does he present to you?
He's got a lot of power, and hopefully it helped us. Apparently it did. Thanks, Brad.
And your thoughts on taking this young group and leading them to the championship game?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're a very different team. I mean, a lot of teams out here, they play as one player at a time, and they have a lot of good players. But we play as a team, and we work together, and we make sure that, you know, we stay connected with each other, and you know, we just played a great game today, and I'm happy we got the result we were looking for.
All right, stay right there. We'll get to you back to you in a moment. Let's go over to Alex Pitts. You didn't register on the stat sheet today, but you've been vital throughout this tournament. And how excited were you when your buddy Saxton got the game winner?
I was super excited. I was so surprised that he got that, and I was so happy.
You field a very young team, only 4 players above the age of 20. So when you go up against a team of veterans like Calgary, how do you handle such a matchup?
Just don't be afraid. Like, handle him like any other team.
And what did you guys tell yourselves? Calgary shut you out through 2 periods, and it looked like they were going to waltz in with their defense. How did you stay together?
Just play hard, get the ball. Keep saying after every face-off, get the ball. Paddle through everybody.
And what does it mean to be playing against the Minnesota Saints tomorrow for the championship?
So awesome. It's going to be a tough game, but we can handle them.
Well, you've had to go through one tough game already against a team who already had an overtime game under their belt. Have you ever had an overtime game like this before?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're used to this.
Yes. Sure. Yeah.
So anybody you want to say hi to that's watching this broadcast?
My friends Tyler and Cole.
And what about you, Liam?
Chris and Dana in Hawaii, and hi Pop-Up, Amy, Gigi. Love you all.
And then we'll go back to Jake. Who do you want to say hi to?
I'll say hi to my Nana and Nono, my Pop-Up and Grandmom, and my 3 friends that are watching this, Dan, Garrett, and Patrick. And thank you for watching it.
And what do you think about going into this championship round against your competitor as far as points go? You and Chad Wilson, the top 2 players in points and goals. You excited for that?
Very excited. I think our team can pull it off because we've accomplished so many things this year and last year that I think we can win this whole thing this year.
So I know you're going to be focused on winning. Who do you think is going to score more goals in that matchup? If you want to place a bet.
You will. Well,
Just say Jake. He's going to score more. Jake's going to score more. No doubt.
Well, I think Alex is going to score a lot tomorrow because we're probably going to set some plays for him because he has a very accurate shot and a very long shot that can go in.
Well, whoever scores the most goals, I think it's going to be whoever wins, but it's also going to be a lot of fun to see you two. It's been great storylines for the both of you, and I'm looking forward to being on hand to narrate that championship. Congratulations to all 3 of you. A well-deserved victory. I hope you can put up with us for one more day for the champ. You think so? And I think you might get a few more followers on Twitter after this. And I was also instructed on your Twitter handle. I mispronounced it back on Monday, and now I know what it is. So I think we'll all be set tomorrow. So if you're not following these guys on Twitter, you better do so. And buy a DVD of this game because they work their butts off, and you see persistence pays off with these 3. That will wrap up our coverage for tonight's action here at Power Hockey Cup 2014. We'll be back tomorrow covering all 5 games, including the championship, featuring the Philadelphia Power Play against the Minnesota Saints. I'm Mike Beaton. For everyone here on our crew at Ustream, thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m.